straight on what appears to be that deliberately causing financial loss to the state, or a decision not to align figures. The fundamental question I have asked about the discrepancy between the figures that left the printing house to the Volta region is the balance statistics at the printing house. Do those figures align with the figures in the Volta region for those constituencies? The press conference has not addressed that. You only assembled words without addressing the cause. So inform the general public. Ghanaians whose monies are being wasted. The ballots go, they come, we waste our time to share them, we call people to come to the printing houses again. Mr. Bosman, the people we call, they have other things to do. So let's be efficient, and we can be. So what is the cause? How come we have balanced statistics in the printing houses, but they experience this kind of shortfall? That is a major issue. My next one has to do with the coalition. Clarification. Do you mean that for the Constituency Coalition Center, we are going to have one person representing the presidential and another person representing the parliamentary? So that is just two. Not two for presidential candidates, two for parliamentary. Is that what you mean?
I thought you were asking a question.
Yes.
So finish your question.
Okay. Because that would be inadequate. If it is just one person for parliamentary and just one person for the presidential, we submit that it should be two for presidential, two for parliamentary. That is something that we need to discuss. Again, I come back to this issue of constituency coalition officers. And once again, I get to the causes of things. Did your returning officers tell you they were tired? They were incompetent, so they could not collate. That is why the commission decided that they were going to appoint constituency coalition officers for them. And I wish that we all have copies of the document you read. Lots of contradictory statements in there. If I tie it together with CI 127, in one breath, they are supposed to be assisting the returning officers. In another breath, they are supposed to be independently collating electronically, whilst the people that they are supposed to be assisting will be collating manually. At the end of the day, whose own reigns supreme? Is it the returning officer that CI 127 knows explicitly, or it is the constituency coalition officer, which is what you are deciding? Because remember that the law that you quoted, Revelation 2, Revelation 3, no,
3B.
3B, any other person to assist the returning officer determined by the commission. How it by saying you are going under the residual and rubric of any other person to insert constituency coalition officer there. When actually, where I think you are importing that from is Revelation 38, which will be looking at the regional coalition officer. But even in appointing a regional coalition officer, don't you think you should have consulted political parties?
No. No. I think you were answering. You finish your question so that we'll respond to you.
Because that is saying that any other person that the commission may, in consultation with the political parties, determine as a regional coalition officer in each of the regions in Ghana. That is Regulation 38C. You have not consulted the MPs. I don't know if you consulted the MPs or any other political party here. But this is what the law is saying. You got it right. That Regulation 38C, the commission may appoint any other person that the commission may, in consultation with the political parties, determine as a regional coalition officer in each of the regions in Ghana. Here again, we ask, are your regional directors telling you they are tired, they are incompetent, they cannot collate, so they need help? Or what is driving that? If something is driving it, for the regional coalition officers, which is explicitly stated here, you are supposed to be consulting us. You've not done that consultation, but you are informing us right here that you've appointed. Why do you do this? Why do you breach the law? The very law that is supposed to govern this election. From there, I move to some other issues which I wish to raise, which are also related to this. The border on coalition. Who is sending the pink sheets to the coalition center? I presume is the presiding officer. Will the presiding officer, in transmitting the pink sheets to the coalition center, be accompanied by the polling agents of the parties? We are not saying the polling agents of the party should go and occupy the coalition center, no. But we are saying that in the interest of transparency, the byproduct of whatever happened at the polling station from 7 a.m. up to 5 p.m. and subsequently counting and everything, will the presiding officer be accompanied by agents who would wish that he follow, so that there are no swaps on the way, there are no swapping of either ballot boxes or pink sheets? What arrangements have you put in place to ensure that the police doesn't obstruct such agents who will just be working in the name of transparency? That is one. Two, the presiding officers. And it's interesting that you jump to collation, because before collation are things that will happen at the polling station. I don't know whether you will discuss things that will happen at the polling station after you are done with the collation, or I can just go ahead and go into the polling station.
Why don't we can figure that can be AOB, so let's go on with what we have discussed.
So we should stick to the collation. Now, who receives the pink sheets from the presiding officer? Is it your appointed constituency coalition officer who is not explicitly known by this law, or it is the returning officer of the constituency who is explicitly known by this law? So
I think the question, so let's, you are asking questions, so we go ahead and ask your question.
So when the presiding officer gets to the constituency coalition center, who is the presiding officer handing over the pink sheets to the presidential and the parliamentary to? Is it the returning officer or is it the constituency coalition
officer? Okay.
Now, what is the exact roles and responsibility of this constituency coalition
officer?
Center?
The center officer.
When he or she is done with the electronic collation, is he supposed to hand it over to the returning officer for the returning officer to determine the accuracy, the validity of it, before the returning officer will announce, or it is going to be the constituency coalition officer who is going to just project and announce it? You want to know.
So, Doc, I think that why don't you allow others so that then you come back?
Oh no, if because since the hour of you are not the one moderating.
So, Doc, let's move on so that others will also have the chance. We'll come back. So let's move on.
Don't be led by.
Oh no. Doc, I think we've had about 7 or 8 questions.
But there are other.
No, that's why I said let's allow others. We'll come back.
No, Doc. I'm not asking them. You mentioned.
Okay, stay the last one, then we can move on.
You mentioned Excel. As we speak, we do not know the Excel formula that is going to be used. Are you ready here to provide the Excel formula that is going to be used? Because we need to educate our coalition agents on the Excel formula that is going to be used. You understand? We want it to be clear. Everybody knows. So, are you ready to provide the Excel formula that is going to be used? Then, we all know the challenges with our electricity. Have you made adequate provision for generators so that standby generators, so that in case power goes off, we can quickly rely on the generators? And last but not least, at the polling stations, DVDs, you have enough power banks for the
DVDs. Okay, thank you. Power banks. So we want to take this one then, or let's allow another answer.
Thank you very much. Let me just first of all say that the issue that Dr. Amanikwama raised as causing financial loss to the state cannot be accepted by the Commission. Let me take you through what happens at the printing houses. Political parties were given the ballot statistics. EC staff were given ballot statistics reflecting the number of booklets in hundreds, 25, 50s, and so on for the printing of the ballots. However, if you look at what happens at the printing house and what your agents will also tell you, in the course of the printing of the ballots, there are issues like problems with the serialization. At times, some of the numbers do not appear and all that. These are things associated with printing. And that's the reason why we have EC staff checking, and we also have agents of the political parties there. And it is not unusual. We have written to the political parties indicating shortfalls in other regions. So it is something which is associated with printing. And that is the reason why we ask checkers as well as the party agents to get to the printing house and make sure that we have the correct number of booklets for each police station within the constituency. So the shortfalls, the commission cannot be blamed, in the sense that you also have your agents there. We are all there checking, and it is, yes, it is not, it's normal to have shortages. You check as human beings when we work. Definitely there may be some shortfalls, and that is the reason why we also have agents there to check. So what I'm saying is that the statistics are there. The statistics are not wrong. if you look, the statistics are not wrong. The statistics are not wrong. It is a shortfall. So if you look at the shortfalls, you will find out that instead of maybe 10 booklets being printed, you get 9 booklets printed. And it is up to all of us to check and then make sure that we have the correct number of what? Booklets printed for all the polling stations. Then, with respect to the constituency collation officers, let me take you through the process so that you get a clear understanding of what is going to happen. At the polling station level, you either get the Form 8A or 8B. That is the parliamentary and the presidential. So at the close of poll, when the declaration of results form, the statement of poll and declaration of results forms, that's the 8A and 8B, are filled, and the agents sign, the presiding officer is expected under police escort to send these 2 forms to the constituency collation center. What he does is that he is expected to submit those forms to the returning officer, not the constituency collation officer. The 2 individuals, the returning officer and the constituency collation officer, will be working independently, but the presiding officer gives the form to the returning officer. So the returning officer does his manual calculation on the collation sheet. So he enters his figures and he gives either the form 8A or B to the constituency collation officer, and he is also expected to enter it on the Excel sheet. When the 2 are done, then they will compare to find out if there are some discrepancies, because the bottom line is the 2 working should have the same figures, the returning officer as well as the constituency collation officer. If there are discrepancies, they will resort to the primary document, which is either the Form 8A or the 8B, and they will have to look at where the challenge is coming from, where the discrepancy is coming from, rectify it, and then the 2 arrive at the same figure. If you quite remember, in 2012 there were a lot of recommendations after the elections, and one of the issues which cropped up was this transposition errors and all that, and it was discussed and recommended that the returning officer takes the ballot papers, delivery of the ballot papers about 2 days to the election. He does the distribution. On the day of the election, he sees to the fact that things goes on well, and he does the collation and then either announce or declare the results. So it makes it very difficult for them to be very accurate. And in some cases, you've actually seen issues where it's taken the courts about 4 years to sit on some of these parliamentary cases. So the constituency collation officers as well as the regional collation officers, is another layer of making sure that the figures that we are going to declare, the results, are very accurate. So that is the process. It gets to the returning officer first. He enters his figures before giving to the constituency collation officer. In 2016, we even used the collation officers. Yes. So power banks.
And the number of DVDs.
We are providing power banks to all the beings, and we've also sent a memo to the regional directors for them to hire generators at all the regional offices and constituency collation centers. And unfortunately, that memo was not on social media, but others are social media. So the commission has made adequate preparation. You saw that. Okay, then that's good. Yes, so we've actually earmarked some amount of money for them to hire generators at both the regional and the constituency collation centers.
Now clarify the one, the number of agents, not to say two.
Okay, so then with respect to the agents, at the national level, we said you can send it 4, but 2 at a time. So with the regional collation centers, and I think it also permits to the constituency, once we have the presidential and parliamentary, we will have 2 agents for the presidential as well as the parliamentary, 2 at a time. I hope you get it.
2 parliamentary, 2 presidential.
Yes.
Waiting for it.
No, but one.
It's 1.
One will be at the constituency is 1. Separately.
When they finish, then we come to
Yes. So
there are certain areas that presidential candidates do not have
agents.
political parties. They don't have the presidential candidates. So in that instance, those ones will not be there. So when we are doing the presidential one, then the presidential agents will be there. When they are done with the presidential, then the parliamentary agents also.
yes, so it boils down to the fact that it will be 2. Yeah. You see, the two cannot be counted at the same time. We can't count the presidential as well as the parliamentary.
So you count the presidential.
Yes. So you count the presidential.
So what we're saying is that, let's say a party that has presidential and parliamentary should still be represented by 2 people. And 2 at the background. 2 people and 2 at the background.
Yes.
At the constituency coalition.
Yes. So, but for the regional, is the 2 can be inside.
Say 1 at a time.
That's exhaust the
Constituency.
1 at a time. At the constituency polling station level, 2 of them.
Yeah.
You're saying that One at a time.
Yes. No.
So at the polling station level, we are going to accredit 2 people, but one at a time.
No, we are talking about constituency. We are talking about.
After the collation.
Why don't we?
That's what I was trying to do.
Go.
Okay, you ask.
Our understanding is that.
Let me give you the mic so that the public. Please, can I take the channel 1? I think it's also live on TV.
Thank you very much. Our understanding is that from the CI, candidates are supposed to appoint agents, polling agents and counting agents. So the 2 of them will be accredited by the EC. But you've always said that it's 1 person at a time. That's polling station. Local, presidential, and parliamentary. For each polling station, you are going to have 4 agents accredited, but 2 will be at a time. At the constituency collation center, you are saying that there will be 2 agents accredited, presidential to parliamentary. Is that the case?
Yes, it's the same, but it is the same thing which is going to happen at the constituency collation center. You count 1 first. That is the presidential. So when you are counting the presidential, we expect 2 for party to be there. How we get you? So in case maybe one of them is tied and you want to collate. So maybe if one is tied, another person can actually come and then replace, or you may even decide to replace the 2. So it is 2 at a time for collation. I hope this is.
I would agree with you that every decision that you inform us about, grounded in the CI. This is in the CI. Just refer to the regulation. Everybody will understand. Otherwise, it will look like we've taken a decision here.
We understand what you're saying.
No, but it's just go to the CI. Go to the CI, they will make progress. We will do that. If you look at Revelation 43, declaration and communication of parliamentary election results. 43. 43.1. Subject to Revelation 42. Immediately after the result of the pool for all the police stations in the process of the returning officer have been given to the returning officer. The returning officer shall, in the presence of the candidates or the representatives of the candidate, or not more than 2 counting agents appointed by each candidate. That's what the regulation says. That's what the book.
It's in the law.
Okay, so that has been established. Any other question?
I must clarify, sir, presidential. The Excel formula. Commission will get back to you. So no.
Yes.
He wants to know the commission. We'll get back. We'll inform them.
So with the Excel formula, we'll get back to the parties on it.